have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity.
We know the air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. As if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy.
Silence! The great and powerful Oz knows why you have come.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
You have meddled with the primal forces of nature.
Don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts.
It's time to buckle up for making sense of the madness.
And who loves you? And who do you love?
Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here, and today we are going to ask the question, is it every single time that when we have one of these quote-unquote random mass shootings, in other words, going anywhere and just targeting civilians, just killing random people, are there any cases where these people are not severely and thoroughly medicated, sometimes for years? And of course, in the case of this latest FSU shooter, we now know, yes, he was not only being medicated, but being medicated for something so vague, I can only guess and imagine what they actually medicated him with. And what do I mean by that? Well, the term that is used in the article, and this is like the first article I've seen, at least in the headlines, is quote-unquote emotional dysregulation. Emotional dysregulation. Let me ask you something. Is that even a real thing? What in the hell does that even mean? Emotional dysregulation. What is dysregulated about this individual's emotions? You know, back in the day, we used to have a system where we accepted that there were going to be hard times in life. Imagine that. Things were going to be, quote unquote, difficult. All right. Not everything was going to be sunshine, unicorns, and rainbows. And now with this, younger generation that has bled into my generation and even beyond, it has become more and more acceptable to not only have a victim-like mentality, but also heavily medicate yourself. Okay, that's okay. Have no accountability whatsoever, and then point the finger at others and call them, quote-unquote, narcissists. You know, often I see something about a narcissist on, it seems to now be a synonym for someone being selfish. But at the same time, there are two sides to every story. You certainly do have selfish people. You have selfish actions. You have sociopaths. And you do have true narcissists. But these blanket statements and attitudes are a real thing. It's a real thing. So we're not getting to the root of any problems. We're not having a system of accountability. We're not encouraging people to work through their mental issues. It's drugs, 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 drugs. And just like I told you, and I had waited at least, 24 to 48 hours to do my first video on the FSU shooting, because I always like to take a look at the public information out there and see if there might be a little more to the story, even more than medication. I mean, the medication is there every single time. Every single time. Within days, there are some articles that are usually talking about SSRI drugs. Now, this article is very interesting because it never addresses what drugs he was on, just this diagnosis. So you can only imagine the type of drugs that this kid was on. Because I'll make it extremely clear. There is no upside to killing random people. You are literally disassociated from reality. Even if you are craving the attention that you'll know you will get from that negative action. You are throwing any future away for a hellscape if you survive. And the thing is that you look at these drugs, and again, you hear about depression, you hear about suicidal thoughts and actions. They don't like to throw the homicidal in there all the time, but look at these things. So you're so bummed out, you're depressed, and then you're on these drugs that will disassociate you from reality. Now, it's funny because when you look at the beginning of my generation, when I was coming to, I was just the other day, I had The Simpsons on in the background, and we're talking old episode. I believe it was the episode where Apu is running the Quickie Mart, and in a sting where there's an enormous camera and a hat and Homer. I mean, this first 3 seasons easily. He gets caught like taking something off the floor and putting in there, serving rotten meat, all that stuff. There's a point in that episode where Marge starts talking about an uncle that she had. And it's a joke about the bell tower incident, really the first mass shooting where somebody went up in a bell tower and just started shooting random people. Okay? And thinking to myself, they're cracking a joke about that, but this is all happening before mass shootings in this country explode. Hand in hand with drugs to treat your depression that seem to have no effect. We're more depressed than ever in this country and around the world, more medicated than ever, more physically unhealthy than ever. And we have to realize that our physical and mental health go hand in glove. I was watching an interview with Jerry Seinfeld the other day. I couldn't believe it. Seinfeld's 70 years old. Looks pretty damn good for 70. Now, he's never been buff. He's never, really talked about health and that, that's not his thing. But he said, look, I do have an exercise regimen every single day because I don't want the battery to be on red or even yellow. I want to keep it white all the time. And he's like, if I'm not physically healthy, then my mental health is going to suffer as well. So it's something that you have to do. It's a pragmatic thing. Think about that. That pragmatic thing. All right? So on top of showing you this article, we're also going to get into the fact that there are now drugs out there that are extremely casual and popular and being taken by a lot of people that are not SSRI or mental health drugs. Yet, they also contain this warning of depression and suicidal thoughts. I mean, the fact that they're on the market is crazy to me if that's the case. And if they were to be on the market, they should be, and they can be effective in any way, shape, or form. They should be utilized when? In only the rarest of cases. They should not be on television being advertised to the public. I mean, that propaganda 101 in your face. So, what I need you to do right now before we go over the story and we show you this Wegovy commercial that is completely bonkers, thumbs it up, subscribe, share, go check out the alt platforms, and please, please, please consider supporting the broadcast. I need you guys now more than ever. I do want to thank so many that have come through yesterday. Marshall Springs, Runny Logs, Mather Warman, Big Hair Tsunami, and Costello. I kept calling him Castillo, and I don't know why. I guess I wanted to, but Costello, thank you so much. Give me a follow over on the X. It costs you nothing. We might actually be able to hit, 47,000. And right now, this post right here, which is not pinned, but it's close to the top, I would really love it if you retweeted this out. This is my Building 7 chapter. While people are questioning 9/11, once again, I really, really appreciate it when people share this because, look, this is a 2008 film. And even though I have 47,000 followers, I'm at a pittance of under 10,000 views. Get this out there. There's plenty of people that don't know the truth about 9/11. Okay, so here's the headline. We're going to go to the article in a moment. Teen syndrome that FSU gunman was being medicated for when he opened fire in campus rage. Now, once again, you're not hearing about this in the United States at all. They've moved on to the mourning and the ceremonies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is probably the most important factor. And when RFK Jr. has dared to mention that these medications, which aren't working, might have something to do, attack. Now, on one end, there is the attack coming from Big Pharma and the profiteers of this. But then you also have those within the power structure that like a docile, chaotic public that they can control easier. So that's another big thing you're fighting. And then you're also fighting the many addicts that have been put on these medications for years and years and years and are in a comfortable, zombified state, or at least believe they are. And in many cases have become physically dependent on these drugs. They're going to fight this tooth and nail. This is a reality. It's not just mass shooters. I mean, you look at the vast majority of the cases where a father or mother goes berserk and kills their significant other and their children and then themselves, or any combination of that, what they're always meted up. Always. So here it is. And this is the frustration because you have the headline, and then it says the student accused of shooting 2 people dead at Florida State University. I think there were 4 injured or 6 injured after that. I forget. Has been diagnosed with emotional dysregulation. Okay? Emotional dysregulation. This is a sheriff's son. He's a 20-year-old kid. He can't even legally drink. How long has he been meted up? And on what? I don't know. Seems like that would be the story. And yet, nothing. Nothing. They actually blame him coming off the prescription medication at the time of the rampage. Okay? Now, let me explain that to you. Yeah, coming off these things is extremely difficult and needs to be done with supervision because they have changed your brain chemistry. You know, I don't want to go too far into it, okay? Because it is a very close to home, direct family thing. But a few years back, a direct member of my family tried to get off the drugs that he'd been on for decades. And I'm watching Facebook posts from this person where they're describing a situation where all of a sudden they feel like they're in and around, and it feels extremely real, an event that happened 25, 30 years ago. And it feels more real than actual reality, and then they kind of wake up out of this dream state and don't know what's going on, and then are compelled to share that with people. Okay, and then in short order, this person had a mental breakdown, threatened the life of their significant other, ended up traveling across the country in this state, and eventually putting themselves in an institution for several days and then going right back on the meds. Now, medded up they're still a totally delusional person. Unfortunately. I mean, but I can only imagine what happened to this person to put them in that state. This is also a person that was in the military. Traveled overseas, was very young. I'm going to stop it there. But to try to say coming off the meds is what did this. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay? So, one of the other things about this culture is we've also normalized, instead of combating what's really causing these things, right? And cutting it off at the source. And I mean, we could reduce this problem by 90+%. I promise you. If we stop medicating with these drugs and we took them off television. And I'm not even talking about medicating 100%. You may, if you were to utilize these drugs in about 5 to 10% of the cases, you would never see even close to what you're seeing now. Okay? But you want to normalize a culture of fear. And not normal. And I'm glad that some people are still hanging out. FSU students' account of building a barricade armed with metal water bottles. Okay? And what they're talking about is the fact that, some of these students had already been on lockdown before, had already had these type of drills before. Usually they tell you to cower in place. This one, it was a barricade. And, if this is going to be the case and you're not going to arm the teachers and you're not going to come up with a real solution, the fact that you don't just have like aluminum baseball bats instead of the kids going to get their Stanley Cup is insane. There's plenty of old aluminum bats that ain't being used by anybody in the school over the years with the baseball program or the Little League program local. I guarantee it. Just point that out. But I'm glad that at least those students haven't succumbed to the idea that any of this is normal. Now, instead of the problem getting better, right, it's only gotten worse because now these drugs that are being utilized for many people to drop weight. And look, again, I think that in some cases, utilizing these in the proper respect and not abusing them is probably a good thing, right? But when you look at some of the side effects, again, you need to say, whoa. Because look, losing weight is often associated with better mental health, better physical health, right? Less wear and tear on your heart, your joints, etc. But actually exercising, eating right, and doing it the correct way is going to be leaps and bounds better than that easy way out. But I want people to watch this commercial, and about a minute in, first of all, I mean, the commercial's insane. It always is. A minute in, after about 30 seconds of other crazy side effects that we're not even getting into here, they let the cat out of the bag. So here you go, everybody. Get ready for some Wegovy.
Look out, 'cause here I come.
Have you always had trouble losing weight and keeping it off? Same.
Discover the power of Wegovy.
And I'm marching on to the beat I drum.
With Wegovy, I lost 35 pounds. And some lost over 46 pounds.
And he's got a fashionable hat.
And I'm keeping the weight off.
Wegovy helps you lose weight and keep it off.
I'm reducing my risk.
Wegovy is the only FDA-approved weight management medicine that's proven to reduce risk of major cardiovascular events in adults with known heart disease and with either obesity or overweight.
Wegovy shouldn't be used with semaglutide or GLP-1 medicines. Don't take Wegovy if you or your family had medullary thyroid cancer, multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, or if allergic to it. Stop Wegovy and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or an allergic reaction. Serious side effects may happen, including pancreatitis and gallbladder problems. Wegovy may cause low blood sugar in people with diabetes, especially if you take medicines to treat diabetes. Tell your provider about vision problems or changes, or if you feel your heart racing while at rest. Depression or thoughts of suicide may occur.
Boom! So forget about all the pancreatic cancer talk. Just right there. And it's like, I mean, every time they're trying to sell you on the nonsense, Wegovy. And it reminds me of, hey, This is the climate change one. This is like the agenda, for the future stuff. It's all the same. It's all the same. So let's continue on the next 20 or so seconds of this commercial. That whole plethora of terrible that it caps off with depression and suicidal thoughts. My God.
Call your provider right away if you have any mental changes. Common side effects like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea may lead to dehydration, which may cause kidney problems.
With Wegovy,
I'm losing weight.
I'm keeping it off.
And I'm lowering my CV risk.
That's the power of Wegovy.
Check your cost and coverage before talking to your healthcare professional about Wegovy.
Oh, how much is it going to cost? See, that's what it's. They let you know. This isn't a drug to help you. We want to make money. We like money. Money, money, money. Folks, that is going to wrap this segment up. I do want to encourage people once again to thumbs it up, subscribe, share. Don't just comment in the live stream if you're catching it live. Please give a comment down below. It really actually does help to get this out much more. Check out the alt platforms. Also, follow me on X. All the documentary films are free. Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade, the motion picture. You know the drill to this guy. It is not about left or right. It is always about right and wrong. I cannot do it without you. Consider a donation, $5, $10, $15. It means the world to me. Big donors, thank you so much. Other than the buy me a coffee, we've got other links down below, and we will see you all on the flip side.